Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Please forgive this attire, but I was just taking a shower and I was thinking like what is like the best thing, what's like the best advice I can give to yoga teachers and like people in the industry. And it just dawned on me in the shower. I get the best ideas in the shower or in meditation. So I was like, okay, well, let me just ride with it before I forget. But, anyways, this video is about how to get the job in your yoga audition. Ace the job, get the job. I remember when I was first teaching yoga, I was always really nervous about the audition. I think I had the first audition was like at Core Power, and I didn't, they're a franchise. They had this set sequence or whatever the case. And I was just teaching based on my yoga tree, which was Yoga Works back then, yoga teacher training. And it didn't have that formula. But regardless of that, I want to tell you these top tips of how to ace the yoga audition. So, tip number one, obviously, you need to have confidence. And what people perceive as confidence and how you create confidence is that you must practice teaching. I need you to practice teaching on at least 10 people. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, maybe I don't know 10 people, or maybe like the 10 people live far away. This is what I did. I would teach. I remember I was dating somebody, I would teach him. I would teach him all the time, all the things that I've learned, and I would teach the sequence and make sure you teach the sequence, the same sequence to all 10 people. So I challenge you to teach the same sequence to all 10 people and have them give you feedback afterwards, okay? So that's how you build confidence. And maybe the people that you have are far away, but because of COVID, I remember all the yoga teachers are teaching online. So have your friend hop online and be like, hey, can you please let me teach you a yoga sequence for like 5 minutes, maybe even 1 minute? Okay. So usually they give you 2 minutes. So try to do a sequence of at least 2 minutes. So get your friends on Zoom on video to teach that same sequence over and over and over. So you build confidence by doing the thing over and over. And the other part of yoga, being a yoga teacher, that sometimes people forget to tell you, it's public speaking. Okay, it really is just public speaking. So, can you stand up in front of a crowd instead of in front of like all different yoga teachers and speak for 2 minutes? And if you think about it, 2 minutes is very quick. It's 2 minutes. So, make sure that you practice public speaking. Maybe you can practice at work, school, okay, in front of your family. Practice that. Okay. So, that's building confidence. Tip number two is Tip number two is have your music playlist set up on your Spotify and then have it downloaded so it's offline. I think on Spotify, you can download the music and then you can access it um, if you're on a plane or something because it's already in your, I'm not in tech, but I think it's in your cache or maybe your storage. But yeah, that way you have no snafus when you're teaching the class. Okay. Tip number three. Tip number three is so important because a lot of the times in the yoga audition, I feel like people are being robotic. So, yes, maybe they have executed tip number one, which is repeating the same sequence to like 10 other people practicing saying that sequence and, practice public speaking. But tip number three is so important so that people actually connect with you when you're teaching. Tip number three is teach to the actual student. I don't care if the student is a teacher. Okay, so teach the actual student. So when you come up with your alignment cue, and if you're interested on how to do really good alignment cues, I have a workbook on Amazon that you can work through. to like really refine your alignment cues. But the alignment cue must be to the actual student in the class. So this pertains to even in the yoga class. It does require you to know alignment cues better. So get the workbook, but look at the class, see the actual pose. So, for example, if you're doing Warrior Three, okay, Warrior Three, look at what the students are doing. Are their shoulders shrugged up? And usually, when you do alignment cues, you start from the bottom, the foundation, the feet, and then you move up. So, teach to the actual student, and then when the people watching the audition see that you're doing that and you're standing next to the student teaching to the student, and they see that the student starts to adjust to what you're trying to say, that is a point for you of being a great yoga teacher. Okay, so they'll be like, oh, okay, she actually is there, she's present and not being a robot and saying the sequence that she had already set, and then it's like you're not even there, right? Tip number 4, don't be demonstrating every little thing, okay? So don't be demonstrating every little thing. A, you'll get gassed, you'll get tired. B, when you're demonstrating a pose or you're like doing the sequence with them, you're not really teaching. You're just doing your yoga practice, because I can't imagine you doing downward facing dog and then really helping your student out or seeing what's going on in the class, okay? So you need to be so in tune with your sequence that you can walk around and speak. So when you do your sequence, most of the time they will be asking you to teach a sequence to all the yoga teachers, which is like super easy because they actually know what you're talking about. But the sequence usually that you're teaching is kind of towards the intermediate student. So don't be afraid to walk around and feel like you don't have to demonstrate. The time that you feel like you have to demonstrate, that means your verbal cue is like off. Okay, like everybody's looking at you cross-eyed. Okay, so that's a clue. Um, and tip number 5, I think it's number 5, is you need to sound natural. Like you need to sound natural. Like you're having a conversation with me, having a conversation with your mom or your close friends. It needs to sound natural. People can feel the energy of insecurity. Like I'll like compare it to like dating. Like if some guy keeps like coming up to you and like asking you a bunch of questions, or like just keeps asking for your number, or like they're like, too eager beaver, you're like, what is wrong? What is wrong with this person? Right? They feel it. Okay. So I like to say a joke. Okay. I like to say a joke maybe in the beginning of the class just to like clear the air, okay, or maybe even in the middle, you know, just like a quick joke. That's just one way to just cut through the like weirdness, okay? Um yeah, those are my top 5 tips on nailing your yoga audition. If you want to if you want me to give you some feedback on your yoga sequence or how you're speaking and just like what are some of the things that I see in your yoga audition, email me. Email me at nan@yogafamily.com. Okay, there's a bunch of links below how you can get in touch with me, but I'm happy to like hop on a call, and I want to see how you teach. I'll give you the feedback, and then we can workshop it so you can get better at public speaking, nailing your yoga audition. So I also have a bunch of videos on yoga education. You can click here. I think there's like a playlist on more yoga teacher helpful tips. And if you want to make more as a yoga teacher, I have another video for that, and I'll link it here. Okay, so I will catch you guys later. Let me know, leave a comment in the video with any questions.